43 drivers getting ready for 250 laps, all trying to join an impressive list of Busch race winners at Richmond. Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Earnhardt Sr., Jeff Burton, Kevin Harvick, Michael Waltrip, Dale Jarrett, and many more past winners of this race. One name will be added to that impressive list tonight.
Kasey Kahne on the pole, his first Busch Series pole of 2004, Truck Win of the Year, and alongside championship contender Kyle Busch. He was the guy that led all but 14 laps here back in May.
In row 2, Robbie Gordon, Ashton Lewis Jr., both with their best qualifying positions of the year.
And Kevin Harvick in row 3, former Richmond winner. Mike Bliss driving for Joe Gibbs, also in row 3.
Back in the inside of row 4, NASCAR Busch Series points leader Martin Truex Jr. alongside Stacy Compton.
Casey Atwood with a good run here earlier this year, and Paul Menard his first top 10 start in the DEI car.
Ted Musgrave inside of row 6 won the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here on Wednesday, or last night, I should say Thursday.
5-time Richmond Busch Series winner Mark Martin going to come from row 7. Last week's winner Greg Biffle in California from row 8. And Johnny Sauter, the defending champion of this race. He started 30th a year ago. He's only 18th this time.
Michael Waltrip on the outside of row 10 alongside David Strimmy. David Green will be doing double duty.
There's Kenny Wallace, 3-time Richmond Busch Series winner in row 13. And Ron Hornaday, disappointing qualifying for them, way back in row 15. And you look at the rest of the starting lineup for tonight's race. Derek Hope back in row 21. And rounding out the field, former series champion Steve Grissom. Huge field of cars tried to get into this race. 54 cars for the 43 starting spots. And we're a couple of laps away from the green flag to pit road. Marty?
Hey, before the race, I asked Kasey Kahne who he had to beat to win this race, Alan. He said Kyle Busch and Robbie Gordon. Robbie said he agrees with that statement. His car is excellent with his best ever Busch Series start, hoping to get his...
See how that outside lane is in turn 1. Kyle Busch doesn't have any trouble trying that outside lane in the 5.
Oh, he tried to use it. He tried to take the lead off Kahne, could not quite make it. He's hanging up good.
Oh, look. Robbie Gordon with a big slide.
Oh, trouble turn 4. Aaron Fike has spun and been collected by Gus Wasson. Fike in the 43, Wasson in the 10. Aaron Fike, the 21-year-old out of Galesburg, Illinois, in just his 6th NASCAR Busch Series start. It doesn't last long.
Got up there. It looks like he just lost it. BP looks like the 43 car of Aaron Fike just got loose up there on the high side.
He did, and poor Gus Wasson, the 10 car, had nowhere to go except in the side of the 43 car.
Green flag.
Brian Sockwell, the orange car, to the inside of the leaders, trying to get a lap back. Kasey Kahne challenged by Kyle Busch for the top spot. The real logjam in behind them.
It looks like Kyle Busch has a run on the inside of Kahne. He's going to have that preferred line in the corner. Now is Kasey going to try that outside line, see if he can get it to work.
Now Kasey Kahne try the outside line.
Kyle Busch.
On.
Hey, Kasey try the outside line? Oh yeah, he will, I think.
Remember, Kyle's second in the championship. If he leads a lap, he gets 5 bonus points toward that title. Just
can't do it.
Well, Robbie Gordon in the 3rd place, that 55 car, he has his hands full, doesn't he?
Yes, sir. Ashton Lewis underneath.
Ashton Lewis from Chesapeake, Virginia. Solidly in 4th place. Great qualifying run for Lewis yesterday afternoon. Matt Yoakum, what do you got?
Well, Kasey Kahne fending off the 5 of Kyle Busch, telling his crew chief Paul Andrews the car's a little free on entry and free off, but that's exactly the way I like it. He did make one comment that he was hitting the rev chip early on entry into turn 1.
Check this race out for 6th and 7th. Kevin Harvick has passed Martin Truex to pick up 6th place. Truex hanging with him, trying to put some return pressure back. Right behind them, 25 is Mike McLaughlin.
Whoa, hang on.
And the 14th, Casey Atwood almost lost it in the corner. Hey, Matt, has Truex said anything to Screw about the contact?
Well, he did make a few comments, Benny, but Bono Mannion, his crew chief, is trying to calm him down. Like you guys mentioned, they'll pull out that fender on their first pit stop, but this team really feels like they dodged a bullet. Back in the spring, he was caught up in an incident with the 4-car, Mike Wallace, the last car to leave that, fought back all night long to finish a hard-fought top 10 finish in 7th. But they are running 6th right now. The car a little free.
All right, so that's the update on the championship leader, Martin Truex. See right behind him, Mike McLaughlin in the 25. Mike has been named to drive that car for the rest of this season for the Rentsies and Team Marines.
And I'm seeing something that I really like in this 38 car. Watch when he goes in the corner, how high he moves up the racetrack. He's not on the bottom. He's moving up the racetrack. He's getting the racetrack widened out. I think we're going to be okay.
So all that fighting over that one lane at the bottom, they go away. That would be what you're forecasting.
That's what I'm hoping for. In 3 and 4, he's still running a little bit low, but down in 1 and 2, he's moved up, moved high on the racetrack.
A lot of guys are having trouble in 3 and 4 when they try to move up high. A couple laps ago, Mark Martin went for a pretty good slide up there. He was up on the high groove, so I don't think it's. I don't think they have the rubber down quite enough in 3 and 4. Work it in a little bit slower.
Looking back. Casey Atwood in the 14 trying to regain a couple of those positions he lost with his bobble up the hill in turn 2. Working on Jason Leffler in the 00. That'll be for 9th place. Leffler has been so strong in that 00 car across the Limited Cellar. Last 16 races, he's got 11 top 10s, and his worst finish has been 17th in the last 17 races.
That's pretty strong.
He has moved up from 10th to 3rd in the championship standings. Unfortunately for Leffler, he's 448 points behind Truex and probably not in any kind of striking distance to put a bid at the title. It looks like it's going to be a 2-man race for this Busch Series championship. Unlike the Nextel Cup Series, where they're using the new Chase to the Cup system, still doing it the previous way in the Busch Series.
You got to think they're going to go that way here next year, don't you?
That would be my guess, that all 3 of the major touring series are going to have the new point system that's being used in NASCAR and Nextel Cup this year. Matt, you have an opinion?
BP, that's exactly what Jason Leffler was telling me yesterday. He wishes they had the Cup Championship point system over here because he feels like since summer, like Alan mentioned, they have really hit their stride. He and Woody Barker, the chemistry is excellent. And if I'm a Nextel Cup owner, looking at the way this kid has rebounded, coming back to Busch, I'm putting him on my list if I have an open seat, putting him in the Cup car next year. He has really come into his own.
In the air as TNT comes back to Richmond. Casey Kane, the leader after the pit stops. Kyle Busch 2nd, Kevin Harvick 3rd, Martin Truex 4th, and Greg Biffle up to 5th. Mike Bliss, Mike McLaughlin, Casey Atwood, Mark Martin, Ashton Lewis are your top 10. Robbie Gordon kicked all the way back to 11th on the pit stops.
All right, a battle for the lead. Kyle Busch finally gets alongside the 38 car, but he had his hands full.
Yes, he did. Kyle
We got
Busch
time here. We got time.
trying to keep his driver calm there. Kyle had that thing all over the racetrack.
I believe that was the voice of Ricky Hendrick spotting for Kyle Busch.
That's him 5 points.
Yes, he does. So nobody been able to challenge Casey Kane yet. The lap cars kicked up to the high side of the racetrack. That would be Shelby Howard in the 35 as we check our Aaron's pit summary. Holding serve would be the name of that.
Well, nothing changed.
He's not among the top 3.
Greg Biffle, the 60 car, his guys must have had a really good stop because I think he was running about 7th or 8th before the stop. Came out 5th.
8th it would be BP. Picked him up 3 spots.
Truex going for the 35 car. Shelby Howard had a moment up in the corner.
And Truex working on 3rd place.
Biffle right there. Like Bliss right there.
You know, it just looks like, Benny Waller, these guys just have their hands full. It almost looks like the cars just aren't predictable sometimes when they're going to stick and when they're not.
A lot of them are having trouble in the middle. We've seen that. We saw it in the final practice of the Cup cars. The guys get up there and it looks like just right when they get back on the gas, the car snaps loose.
I think they probably have so much wheel into it to get it to go around the corner. When it finally does catch, that's when the back end snaps loose, because I think in the middle of the corner, the cars are pushing, sliding across the racetrack.
One thing we're seeing that we definitely like, that outside lane is as fast as the inside lane, and that's the Richmond we're used to seeing. It's one of the great things about this track. It's why there are so many of those fans in the grandstands tonight. Outstanding side-by-side racing. And Truex not able to, couldn't get by him.
Your Mike Bliss pulls up behind these guys. I think right now Harvick's car does not get going well after the green flag. In 20 or 30 laps, I think he's going to be about as fast as anyone, but right now it looks like he's holding up this line of cars.
Last 3 Richmond NASCAR Busch Series finishes for Kevin Harvick: 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. The 3rd being the most recent race this past May. So
Biffle's car looks like it's the best car in that group right there if he can get clear.
That's Biffle in the 60. Biffle started back in 15th place. He is up to 5th now.
Car's right on the bottom.
It looks like he and Martin Truex in the A car running in about the same spot.
Whoa, Harvick!
For a moment, was that contact or just?
I don't think so. I think he just slid up there. A lot of guys having trouble in that spot.
So Truex through the 3rd, Biffle to 4th, Bliss to 5th. Harvick hanging on, trying to fight for 6th with Casey Atwood. And Atwood in the 14 is going to go on through.
All right, Biffle now on the inside of the 8 car, Truex.
We got slower.
There we go.
Now we'll see if Biffle leaves these guys, because it certainly looked to me like he had one of the better cars in that group.
Biffle to 3rd, Truex to 4th, and Bliss there in 5th, trying to take that spot away. Boy, look at the run Bliss got.
Oh, another same deal. Slow car.
Oh, look out!
Oh, and boy, a lot of rubbing that time.
That's the 2nd time.
Yeah, that Truex.
That Bliss and Truex have gone into the corner 3 wide with another car. The first one resulted in that fender damage on Truex's car that we were showing you earlier in the race.
Truex has got to be getting a little bit tired of the 20 wearing him out.
Dave?
Mike Bliss, no damage from that time either. He's been on the giving end both times, and so far it hasn't affected the 20 car. Matt, how about the 8? A problem may have developed on the championship point leader. Martin Truex Jr. came on the radio to Bono Mannion and the crew. I may have a right front tire going down. The crew is up on the wall preparing to service his race car if indeed he does have a flat, and they're waiting for him to hit pit road.
It's a possibility of what happened is he made contact and mashed that fender in, and he's lost downforce on the 8 car. When he goes in the corner, and it's sliding worse than it used to, which feels a great deal like a flat right front tire.
Casey Atwood trying to take the 5th spot away from Truex. He's going to, at the end of the night, wasn't it the Bristol race just a couple of weeks ago, where everything that happened around him. He got bounced off of several times, and he wound up with a decent finish, but kind of felt when he got out of there like he'd been a pinball all night. He might have that same feeling tonight. That is Shelby Howard, who has just had a little dust up with the safer barrier.
Is this car you drove last week, Wally?
Yep, he's not.
He's going. Is he manhandling your car?
Yes, he is.
Oh, man. And again, Truex's struggles continue. Atwood's passed him for 5th. Harvick's working on him for 6th.
But Alan, we got to show Wally his car hitting the wall, don't you think?
I don't want to see that.
Now, come on, please. Guys the truck. Let's. Wally, watch this.
Shelby, tell him to pay attention,
Oh,
VP.
that was gentle. That was
Yeah, I would have done a lot better than that.
Yeah, you don't. Never mind. That was too easy. So troubles for the championship leader that might be bringing him to pit road. We're hearing he may be coming in.
Well, he's losing a lot of positions right now.
Matt, what are they saying?
AB, he came on the radio, said it feels like the wheel is going to fall off. Maybe loose lugs from that last pit stop on the 8 car. Bonamanu told him after he made that statement, come to pit road, we're waiting for you.
Yeah,
he
baby.
still has not gotten down yet to make his entry.
Bring it in.
Yeah, that's right, because that problem is only going to get worse if those lug nuts, in fact, are loose.
And the more laps you ride around on it,
Yeah,
you do some damage to those studs. Now you can't put a new lug on. Oh, you got a break. Oh, boy.
man, oh man, Lowell Bennett, the 82 car comes along
Boston
and plows into Boston Reed. This Boston Reed, the 87 car, one of the Hendrick Motorsports development drivers.
Well, that's a big break for Martin Truex right there.
Sure is.
Boston Reed, a 21-year-old from Logansport, Indiana, in his 4th stock car race, his first Busch Series race. He is a USAC Sprint and now Silver Crown driver. And Lowell Bennett, a championship contender regularly at Slinger, Wisconsin Speedway.
Boston loses control, and poor Lowell Bennett has nowhere to go.
I don't know if he got turned or not.
Well, that look is possible.
He may have gotten some help there.
And no place to go.
This is hard contact right here.
Yeah.
Because Lowell Bennett's car goes no place. It just stops.
That's too bad for both. As Boston Reed out of his car. Good to see.
Well, there's an old timer there, isn't it?
His misfortune, good fortune for Martin Truex, who gets to make a pit stop now, potentially under the caution flag. Kevin Harvick in 6th is going to be the first one to come in, followed by Truex and Jason Leffler, and a scattering of the other lead lap cars. Marty?
Well, the decision was made by Rick Byers, who said, you want to pit now and have some track position for later? So this may be the last stop for the 21 car. A little loose when he starts off, but he said, once it comes to me, I'm fine. The car is very good. Half a round of wedge into the left rear. Matt?
After losing 19 points to the 5 car in Bristol, Truex gained back 17 last week. Looks like he caught a very lucky break. He told Bonamanu the steering wheel was almost shaking out of his hands. A very lucky break. They also made an air pressure adjustment on this 8 car.
Casey Kane, the leader, did not pit under this caution flag. We'll follow up on Truex's issues as the cleanup continues at Richmond. So after leading the first 152 laps of this race, Casey Kane back in traffic in 14th place, plus the lap cars to the inside.
That's the 6 car, Mark McFarland in 2nd spot. Mark Truex in 3rd. Jason Leffler, 0-0, 4th.
Remember that McFarland pitted at lap 109 also. Truex pitted at 134. He's got fresher tires, and he goes after 2nd place.
And McFarland gives him the room. Oh, McFarland goes to the corner, and he goes straight, Marty.
Yeah, you're supposed to turn left, aren't you there, BP?
Yep.
Mark, they pitted at lap 109 too, but they say they'll have to come back down pit road for more fuel before the end of this race. They cannot make it all the way on fuel. The theory is let them burn up their tires. They'll put on new ones later. Hopefully they'll be able to make some progress to the field.
If we get enough caution.
Yeah, exactly.
If we get enough green flag laps for the guys to burn up their tires and then get the caution at the right spot for him to put the tires on. Not a bad strategy. We'll see. McFarland, the NASCAR Weekly Racing Series national champion.
So the 59 may be blowing up. Stacy Compton.
Kevin Harvick, Johnny Sauter, 21 and 27, racing for 5th and 6th positions. And let's talk about Mark Martin. First off pit road, but no tires on that pit stop. How about the thinking on pit lane, Matty?
Well, Rambo Liberati now, 3 guys in the pit box. You chose to take no tires. What did everybody else say?
Well, sitting up here with my engineer and Jack, they both said I probably ought to take tires. But that number 9 Pennzoil car would just not go on new tires, and we had old tires, and we wasn't going to do nothing, so we're just going to see what happens, and hopefully I made a good call. If I did, then I'm right. If I didn't, then Jack's right. He's going to throw me off the box, I reckon. But we'll see. Mark's doing a heck of a job. Car's running good. All the guys done a good job, and I'm just hoping that that we can just get up front and see what happens.
He's hoping to give Mark Martin another win here at Richmond. Remember, they almost won back at Michigan.
As Mark in the 9 right behind Mike Wallace trying to get on the inside of him. Down in turn 1, he's there.
That's for 8th place. So Mark will have moved up 2 spots since the restart in that 9 car. Mark has added a couple of Busch races to his schedule for later this year after Jeff Burton split with Roush Racing. Remember, Mark and Jeff and Matt Kenseth were all going to split time in this car. With Jeff's departure, Mark is also going to run the Busch races at Dover, Atlanta, and Phoenix later in 2004.
I'm sure those racetrack promoters are glad to hear that, because fans always want to come see Mark Martin running the NASCAR Busch Series. After all, he only won about 60 of them.
Now watch right here. It looks like Biffle is putting some pressure on Casey Kane, which we haven't seen anybody really do that all day.
Well, remember, Biffle came off pit road ahead of Casey Kane.
That's right.
Okay.
Kane has just gone by Biffle.
And now he's trying to go by Ashton Lewis in that 46, who also came off pit road ahead of him. Can you imagine having a car that was good enough to be unchallenged for 152 laps of leading and less than 100 laps from the finish? Somebody saying, okay, you're 14. Go get him. Good luck.
And you can't go anywhere, obviously, as you can see.
Here comes Kyle Busch, that 5 car. He's trying to go by Biffle on the outside. And Biffle better go to the outside quickly behind the 46 car. He's going to get hung up behind him.
This is for 10th, 11th, 12th.
Just depends which one of those guys go, Mike Wallace or Ashton Lewis.
Or where a lap car comes up and holds one of those lines up.
Lap car might get run over.
Tell you what, looks like Biffle made the right choice. He gets back by the 38 car. Now here comes a 5 on the inside of the 38.
Okay, so Biffle redeemed me.
Now Kyle Busch in front of Casey Kane. David Green next, but he can't keep Kane shuffled into that outside lane. So now Casey has to make up all those positions he just lost and then try and work his way toward the front.
And I tell you what, that's a couple of good cars that just got by him. The 60 and 5 are not going to be pushovers when the 38 gets there, if he does get there.
Can't get by Mike Wallace right now.
You're abusing your stuff a little bit more right now when you're driving in traffic than if you had the whole racetrack to yourself like he's had all race.
And these guys are trying to find a place to wreck, aren't they? Bunch of cars.
Yeah, he might have it cleared this time. All right, so now Casey, look how quickly Biffle and Kyle Busch have left him while he was racing there with Mike Wallace. Here is Kyle Busch on Ashton Lewis. That'll be for 11th place as Lewis tries to keep up with Greg Biffle, who's slicing through some of the traffic.
How many tires did Ashton take on that last pit stop?
Actually waiting to hear back on that for sure. I thought it was 4, but I'm waiting for confirmation on that. We will get it momentarily, okay?
I didn't know if I just wasn't paying attention to you again, or we didn't get that information.
As we watch this battle, Ted Musgrave is slow down pit road. Looks like he may be going to the garage area.
Marquis, Allen, Kyle Busch Busch have been very patient tonight. The car is very good. But what they need is what we have right now, a little green flag racing. That's when Kyle's car is the best. That's one of the theories of why they made the pit stop that last time. They were coming no matter what. But Lance Bergrew said we cannot afford to give up the track position early in the run. We need to pit now because I know Harvick is going to be coming. And Harvick's car also very good on the longer runs.
Leads. Martin Truex is second, Leffler third, Harvick fourth, Robbie Gordon fifth. Casey Kane back in 11th spot behind Kyle Busch and Greg Biffle. They've been the dominant cars in the race, but they're hung in some traffic after an exchange of strategy, if you will. People pitting on different cautions on different schedules.
And I tell you what, a lot of those NASCAR and Nextel Cup teams are watching this 14 car running as well as he is with these tires that's been on there for now about 100 laps, but still able to stay in front of the 8 car. And all of a sudden the 8 car went in the corner, just, I don't know if he missed a brake pedal or something.
A couple things. Gus Wasson being black flagged, not meeting the minimum speed, I believe, is the ruling there.
Kevin Harvick lost a couple spots that last lap too. Robbie Gordon got by, and Paul Menard really held off Paul Menard.
Well, he's trying to hold off Paul Menard.
Be back up on that. Something hanging off for Gus Wasson's car. That's why he's been black flagged. Also, Kenny Wallace back on track after time behind the wall for repairs. He is 69 laps down in 37th place.
Jason Leffler, 00, goes by. Truex takes over that second spot and continues. The 00 continues his terrific runs in the last couple of months.
Paul Menard gets by Kevin Harvick.
That's Menard up to 5th and Harvick back to 6th. Kyle Busch trying to work through all the other cars on the same pit schedule with him. He just passed Greg Biffle in the 60. Now Busch in the 5, working on Mark Martin in the 9 for 8th place. This will be the first of the cars on that second pit schedule, if you will.
Casey Kane taking a look on the outside of Greg Biffle in the 60. Working the high line, of course.
And Mark Martin on those older tires just not giving in. Martin in the 9. Tell you what, you got 2 equally fast lanes at this racetrack. To be fastest, you need the whole track. And when cars race side by side, just not sometimes enough racetrack there to finish that pass.
Kyle Busch gets by Mark Martin. Now Greg Biffle, the 60 car, moves up behind him.
So that puts Kyle to 8th place. And he's got some traffic to try and get through to see if he can contend for the win in the remaining 50 laps of this one. Here's your leader, Casey Atwood. Let's go through the field. We'll start with Dave Burns.
Alan, one of the reasons why Jay Guy, the crew chief, and Casey Atwood reasoned they could stay out because the chassis has handled so well early in the race. Casey reported in the right front grips so well compared to practice. I am in control of this race car. We got the thumbs up on fuel for the 14. Matt, Dave back on lap 108. Booty Barker made a big chassis adjustment, 3 rounds in the right rear and also an air pressure adjustment. Jason Leffler to the car was bad tight. They also fixed that right front fender. Meanwhile, Martin Truex, his spotter, had talked to Casey Atwood's spotter. They were hoping to lead a lap, gain some bonus points since Kyle Busch hasn't led yet, but he is slowly fading. His car has gone to the tight side. Marty?
Matt, a little earlier in the race, Robbie Gordon said, guys, we're going backwards. The car much better now, though. A little bit too tight. His best short track finish this year, 15th at IRP. Much better tonight, Dave.
Paul Menard pitted for 2 right side tires on lap 146. His car was tight. They made an air pressure adjustment. He stayed out the last 2 cautions and moved up in the field. Marty?
Dave, early in the run, the 21 car of Kevin Harvick calls it snap loose, meaning the car just wants to go loose all of a sudden. Although the longer they run, the better he gets. Right now, the quote was, we're really good, guys. Just give us some time, Dave.
Johnny Sauter radioed in, this car turns like nobody in business with new tires. But they stayed out last time on old tires. So they're just looking for holes in the traffic, trying to hold their position. Marty?
Kyle Busch, one of those guys on the second schedule of pit stops, pitted at lap 149. The car is starting to get a little bit better, just a little bit loose in. He said that's better though. Now he's a little bit tight, nothing he can't live with, Matt.
And the Roush car making his way up there. Greg Biffle, he was telling his team the car, it was starting to get tight and tighter on exit. He was trying to adjust his line to help free the car up, but it just would not do anything. Meanwhile, his teammate Mark Martin, remember, he's running on old tires. He's dropped back to 10th, really hasn't said a whole lot on the radio, looking for their second straight top 10. He rounds out the top 10, guys.
10 of what are 24 cars on the lead lap. Casey Atwood leading Jason Leffler by 1.1 seconds, leading Kyle Busch by 5 seconds. Laps winding down. Trouble, turn 2. Casey Mears. Look out! Boy, oh boy.
Man, how in the world did he spin through all those cars and no one plow in the back of him?
When he hit him.
Heads up driving. Casey was running 15th at the time, Marty.
Alan, it wasn't 10 laps ago. He came on the radio and said, guys, we have absolutely no brakes left. Don't know whether that had anything to do with the wreck, but he said, we have no brakes left in the one car.
Might have had something to do with why he slid back through traffic. So Casey Mears, one of 9 different drivers that have been behind the wheel of this one car for James Finch this year. Brings out the caution, the 9th one of this race, and slows us up with 43 laps to go. That might have been big for Kyle Busch. Talk about that in a second. First, let's pick up in progress the Casey Mears problem, top of your screen.
Yeah. Don't really see what might have caused it. All we see is him going straight across the racetrack in front of yellow car Hermie Sato, the red and blue car of Stan Barrett.
Ahead from Kenny Wallace. Check out the top of the screen.
I don't know if there was contact with that car or not. Hard to tell.
It's J.J. Yaley there. Whoa.
36 did a good job there.
Travis Geisler. And so the one car in for repairs from the Phoenix Racing team. And the caution flag bringing the pace car out in front of the field again.
Green flag, green flag, green.
Restart. 36 to go. Atwood leading, Leffler second, Truex third, Gordon fourth, Menard fifth. Harvick is sixth. Kyle Busch, the one to watch in my opinion. He's in 7th spot.
And now Leffler's got his hands full with Truex in the 8 car, trying to stay in front of the 8. So he's got to be defensive, not offensive. Oh, and here comes Kyle.
I get 2 of them maybe.
That would be 6th place on Harvick, and he's working on Paul Menard in 5th. Marty?
5 car coming to life, Alan. His quote under the last caution for Kyle Busch, she's lovely. He likes the race car, trying to get another spot from Paul Menard.
Not quite this time. And up front, here's Robbie Gordon working on Jason Leffler in the 00. That's for 3rd. Gordon in the 55.
Truex, the 8 car, has gotten by. And we'll see if he can catch the 14, do anything with him.
Whoa! That's a slide job right there. That's a crossover.
Some damage to that left front fender on Leffler's car. See if that affects it in these final laps. See it creased in there?
Just a little bit.
From where he and the 55 made contact. Now farther back, Kyle Busch still trying to find a way to get around Paul Menard for 5th. Nice job by the kid in the 11 tonight. Paul Menard, 24-year-old from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. In only his 6th race with the Dale Earnhardt Incorporated team, he's in position for his best ever NASCAR Busch Series finish. He hasn't had a top 10 yet.
He's doing a good job tonight.
If he can hang on, it'd be a good one for him. And here they go again.
Now this one more time.
Robbie drive up the racetrack. That was a fake push there.
They're not giving each other any room, are they?
Nope. Now he's going to go up the racetrack, and the double zero's going under him again. This time,
this might be one of those where there's some contact before it's over that results in one of them spinning around. Marty?
One other thing Robbie Gordon said on the radio was the longer it runs, the worse the car gets. So that doesn't bode well, although he did a pretty good job of holding the double zero off.
All right, so that settles down for a moment. And Robbie Gordon is in third with Jason Leffler back to fourth. Michael Waltrip being black flag, not meeting the minimum speed in the 99 car. A tough night for Mikey. Tell you what, Kyle Busch did not get around Paul Menard, and these guys in front of him are leaving him. Look at the gap. Back to Busch there in the 5 car. On board with Kyle.
They've got Harvick to worry about too now. Harvick got back up on his rear bumper.
How about that 11 car with Paul Menard, Dave?
Well, Alan, I was just thinking, isn't this just the chance that Paul Menard had been looking for when he joined this Chance 2 group, and in his 5th race now for them, looking to prove that he's a wheel man with the right equipment under him and holding off these guys? I think you'd have to say, yeah.
sure looks like one. He's driving away from Kyle Busch, who led how many laps? 236 laps in the spring here?
236 of 250.
Kyle must have lost the handle on that car.
Sure looks like it.
Getting worked over by Kevin Harvick for 6th place. Casey Atwood, spotter and crew chief and so on, that can see this going on, loving it. Because they know every lap they can keep these guys busy is to the advantage of their driver.
You hear that car miss?
I think he was on a limiter.
I think against the rev limiter?
Yep.
That could be. It certainly did sound like it was missing there down the straightaway.
So this is the race for for 6th and 7th. While up front, it's all Casey Atwood right now. He stopped at lap 109, did not pit at lap 134 when some of the other cars, front runners did not pit again at lap 152 when a lot of the other front runners did. That's how he got to the lead, and he has not been headed since. Now 75 laps led for Casey Atwood. Dave?
Maybe I spent some time with Casey Atwood in the garage today, and in talking, I asked him to reflect on his first visit ever to Richmond. I already mentioned today that he loves this place. He remembered that first race in 1998 here vividly. He said, I was driving a basically white race car with a red number 28, and I was wide-eyed, and I loved this place as soon as I got on the track. I finished 13th that day, but I started 6th, and ever since then, I've always liked Richmond.
Well, he's got good reason to.
Say he and Jay Guy, the crew chief on this car, have a terrific setup here tonight. He's been out there for 120 laps or 125 laps on these same tires, and no one can catch him.
Here's a neat twist on what we're seeing tonight too, even if he isn't able to hang on to the win. But you look at this team right now that's running first versus the team that's running second, and some of them behind them. This is the Fitz-Bradshaw team, owned by got trouble, turn 2, got a spinner, Travis Geisler. Caution flag is out. Okay, let's hold that thought.
Hold that thought.
Man,
We need some tires, Ricky.
Travis talking about Ricky Pearson, right?
the crew chief said we need some tires.
So this would be yellow flag number 10 in the race.
Well.
And no, we're not there yet.
No. I wasn't even thinking about asking.
Oh, he got some help.
Yes, he did. Stanton Barrett in the 91 car that made contact with him down in turn 1.
Beautiful 360 though.
It was a nice 360, wasn't it? So Travis is able to fire it up and continue away. The 23-year-old from the Pittsburgh area in his 10th NASCAR Busch Series start. talking about this team. This is a Busch Series only team. This isn't one of the teams with the big heavy cup ties. This is Armando Fitz and Terry Bradshaw who own this team. They field the multi-car effort, try to compete against the DEIs and Chance 2s and Hendrick Motorsports and all the rest.
Not really Armando's team. It's Mimi's team.
Well,
she pretty much calls the shots on this deal, so
that's
why they're doing so well.
But it's good to see a standalone Busch Series team out there doing the job.
And Terry Bradshaw should be working tonight, getting ready for tomorrow, but he's probably watching the Busch race.
Green flag, green flag.
16 laps to go. Can Casey Atwood hold off Martin Truex?
Oh, Paul Menard slides up the racetrack, loses a bunch of spots.
Atwood trying to hang on. And Robbie Gordon working in third in case these two should get together racing for the lead. Atwood holds him off. Is that Armando? That's Armando, yeah.
Armando, he's watching him.
That's the team owner. Partner along with Terry Bradshaw.
He's watching the big screen. Here we go. The 8 car's there again.
Oh, look out! Look out! Robbie Gordon coming through on the bottom. New leader with 15 laps to go. Robbie Gordon able to take advantage when Truex slipped racing underneath Atwood for the top spot. Gordon slides by. Now they're double wide for second.
And Atwood maintains that second spot, but now can he pass the 55 car? Can he catch it?
Get good.
Oh, he's going to get good.
He's going to get good.
He's faster than the 55 car.
Oh, yeah, he's going to catch him, but Robbie's not the easiest guy to pass.
Yeah, but I'm going to predict after losing the lead the way he did, he's not going to hesitate to put the fender to somebody if he needs to get that lead back. If he can get to it, is the question. Agree, disagree?
Oh, I think he'll, yeah, he's going to get to him. He's to him.
He's there.
Robbie's car, like we talked about earlier, the longer they run, he cannot get through the center of the corners.
Outside with a look. Atwood not able to get up alongside. 10 to go when they come back.
Hey, what if Atwood gets on the outside of the 55 car, it's all over.
Yeah, but Robbie... Yeah,
here we go. Here we go.
I don't think Robbie's going to give it to him.
Squeezing. 10 laps to go at Richmond. Last year, this race in the final 10 laps, Matt Kenseth and Johnny Sauter traded paint, racing for the win. The lead changed hands the final time off the final corner. Let's see what it's like tonight. Atwood with a slip.
Yep, he slipped just a little bit, cost him a little bit of time.
I think Casey's going to have to lean on him a little bit. Because Robbie's not going to leave that outside open.
What are they saying to Robbie Gordon's pit, Marty?
Well, you know he's going to block as much as he can, Alan. All they said is this is all you. You've got to make it happen right here. Robbie Gordon's been very open in the past 2 weeks about the fact that his contract at Richard Childress Racing is up at the end of the year. This is his own Busch team. He owns his car and the entire team, and this may be his livelihood next year. It would look a lot better if the 55 team won tonight, trying to attract a sponsor for next year.
All right, he's starting to move up the racetrack. He's starting to move up the racetrack. Talking about the 55, but the 14 has shown all night he's better on the outside.
Well, he better look in the mirror, or maybe he should look in the mirror, because that 8 car is right there. He's going to have to force the issue here pretty quick, or Martin Truex is going to be by both of them.
We're going to run at him there in the center of the corner. Not quite.
6 to go. 6 to go.
They got slower cars are coming up on as well.
Yep. 3-lap cars just in front of the race leaders. Gus Wasson's car involved in an accident earlier, plus Derek Cope. And the 72 of John Graham taking a racing lane.
Five now, 5 to go.
Robbie Gordon looking for his first ever NASCAR Busch Series win. Best finish before, third on 2 different occasions this season. Those are his 2 best career NASCAR Busch Series finishes. Atwood with another run at him. Not quite.
He's going to have to get beside him in the middle of the corner. Because Robbie, like I said, is drifting up the racetrack. Either that or he's going to have to... So like you said, his markout, Casey's car doesn't work really good down low.
3 laps to go. 1 more lap car ahead of the race leaders.
The 55 car is running in exactly the spot that the 14 car needs to be in.
Mike McLaughlin's slower car at the bottom, injured earlier in an accident, the race car that is. And now 2 laps to go for Casey Atwood to try and get around Robbie Gordon, for Gordon to try and defend and hang on for his first Busch Series win. Off turn 2, Atwood with a fender inside.
He's going to drive it in hard.
Looking for some running room down low as they come to the white flag. Robbie Gordon is able to hang on. Final lap at Richmond. Who's it going to be? Atwood got the run off turn 2 last time. Gordon's able to hang on for now. Final corners. Atwood with a run at him, but he can't get underneath. Robbie Gordon wins at Richmond. What a finish. Casey Atwood winds up second. Martin Truex Jr. third. Robbie Gordon with his first ever NASCAR Busch Series victory.
That was good stuff, wasn't it?
That's why all these seats are full at this racetrack year after year. His 23rd NASCAR Busch Series start yields win number 1 for Robbie Gordon and team. Marty?
Bob Temple, great run. You told us a moment ago the car was not that good. How did he hold it at 14 on?
The car wasn't really that good all day. We started out front. He had an awesome qualifying run, and things been loose on the entry and tied off all night. We just weren't able to get it out of it. And he just did an awesome job at the end. It was all him. It wasn't the car at all. It was all him.
Robbie Gordon with the victory. Casey Atwood with his first top 5 finish since his win at Dover in September of '99. His first top 5 since then in the Busch Series. Martin Truex finishing a couple of spots ahead of Kyle Busch. He'll add a couple of points in his championship standings.
And Paul Menard back in 13th. We didn't get to see it. There's stuff going on up front, but he got moved up the racetrack there in 1 and 2 and lost a bunch of spots.
Mark Martin, you saw, only able to come back to 12th position after the late stop for tires.
Ron Hornaday had not a very good night. Finishes 21st on the lead lap, but way back in 21st.
Michael Waltrip out late, and some of the other drivers who had troubles throughout tonight's race. Jason Keller involved in the early crash. And the final finishers, Mark Green, Jeff Fuller, and Aaron Fike. Championship standings now with 8 races to go in the NASCAR Busch Series season. 105 points, the gap between the two.
And as Wally and I said, that's about all you need to know in the NASCAR Busch Series. 2 guys, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch.